All right, now we're on to section 2 because I hit the end button on the actual recording instead of on the video that I was demoing for you. Sorry about that. So anyway, you're going to watch the rest of the Jenny Magira video, and like I said, it will stop and it will ask you a question, and you can answer the question and then move on. There may be a few questions that you don't know how to answer, and that's fine. It's more that I really want you to watch the video and then to see the tool and think about how it might be used in a classroom. It's not so much about getting the answers right, so don't worry about that part, but I just want you to experience the tool and really be inspired by Jenny Magira. So hopefully you will be, and you will enjoy that video. Okay, so I'm going to move on here. All right, now we're going to watch another video. So this is very quick, but I wanted to get us started because the way that our classes are designed is we're going to be using, there's 7 student standards for technology integration. They are built, they are the exact same standards as the International Society for Technology for Educators standards for technology. Washington State just adopted those standards. They had other standards, but they just adopted those new standards in May. So they're brand new for the state of Washington, and the ISTE standards are about 2 years old. So it was already a good thing, and so they just went ahead and adopted those. So there's 7 different standards, and this is just a silly, cute little video to introduce those 7 standards to you. And then what we'll do during the classes is each week we'll have one of those standards that we'll talk about as far as the student standards go, and then you'll have an activity, a homework assignment that goes with that standard. So that's kind of how the class is organized. There are also ISTE standards for educators, and we'll be looking at those along the way as well. But this is the student standards, and that is how the class is organized because it just fits into nice little chunks. So you'll see that. So we're going to watch this quick little video, and then we're going to look at the first standard.
Shout out to all my 21st century learners out there. You know how we do it. Let's go. Yo, number 1, I'm an empowered learner. I set goals and pursue them with fervor. My learning is up to me, it's not passive. My brain learns best when I am digitally proactive. Number 2, I'm a digital citizen. I stay safe on all the sites that I'm visiting. I use technology to make a difference. With power comes responsibility. You digging it? I'm a knowledge constructor. Number 3, I carefully select and evaluate what I read. Curate media also brilliantly, and I think critically about source validity. 4, I'm an innovative designer. That means I solve problems, major and minor. Start with empathy, ideate, then prototype. Test and iterate, that method is so nice. I'm a computational thinker. 5, improving any process that I can find. Writing algorithms and testing in beta. Analyzing to find the trends in the data. I'm a creative communicator, that's 6. Like I put this in a rap song to make it stick. I could use different media or tools like infographics to get my point through. 7, I'm a global collaborator. I might connect with students way over the equator. Digital tech makes the dream come true. Had a virtual field trip with a kid in Peru. That's 7 ways that I can be a lifelong learner in this 21st century. What kind of student do I want to be? It's my path, that's up to me. That's 7 ways that I can be a lifelong learner in this 21st century. What kind of student do I want to be? It's my path, that's up to me.
All right, so those are the standards, and like I said, there's 7. This week we're going to be looking at the empowered learner. We're not going to do them exactly in that order just because of how it fits in with online and face-to-face classes and things like that. But we are going to look at the Empowered Learner. The video that you watched by Jenny McGarrah fits perfectly into this idea. So that's the reason I shared that with you. And as I said before the video started, every week you're going to learn about a different standard, and then you're going to have a homework assignment of using a digital tool to create some kind of way to show your understanding of that standard. And so I'm going to show you how that looks. Let me go back to our, not here, let's go here. So the example that I'm going to share with you, so here's our student learning standards, and a couple of times back when I did this, I made an example every week for teachers. So what I did is I used, for this one, and I'm going to show you a link to some other tools, but for this one I used a tool called Adobe Spark. And it's not my favorite tool, but it was one I hadn't tried before, so I did. And I created this video about empowered learners. So this is just my sample. It's not great. Empowered learner. Engage versus empowered. Shifting the focus from the teacher to the learner, or the teaching to the learning. Empowered students become agents of their own learning. Empowered students are goal setters. Empowered students choose their own learning paths. Empowered students have a growth mindset. Essentials of learner empowerment. Meaning, students need to be convinced of the value of a task before giving their efforts to it. Empowered students will be confident in his or her abilities and will perceive themselves as capable to complete the task. Impact. The knowledge that they can make a difference will motivate students to excel in their work. Choice. When students feel they have a choice, they feel empowered. Tips for creating empowered learners. Understand student interest. Link the curriculum to practical hands-on experiences. This facilitates learning. Consider students' readiness levels. If they perceive the task as too hard, they won't attempt. Provide choices. Okay, so as you see, I used Adobe Spark and then uploaded it to YouTube and embedded it in my portfolio. What I'm asking you to do for this time is, let's see, let's go to our, here. Oh, okay. So here is the lesson in your Western account, and you'll see that you can learn about empowered learners here. And this is the link to what I just shared with you. And then this tool here is, there's a bunch of tech tools that I have shared with you, and you can just try any of them, or try one that's not on this list if you want to create some kind of way to share what you've learned about empowered learners. So you could do a slideshow, you could do a video, you could do a poster, you could do any kind. I mean, there's just a million ways you could do it. So, an infographic. So look at those tools and pick one of them that you'd like to try, and then share what you've learned about empowered learners. Now I'll give you another hint for just coming up with some ideas. So in my portfolio, under Student Learning Standards, for each Student Learning Standard, I used a different tool. So this one, I used Canva, And so you could take a look at a couple of just different examples of things that I've used if you want to try out a different tool. And so you'll notice on here what the assignment asks you to do is it asks you to create this product telling your understanding of empowered learners. It asks you to embed it on your website, and then on the website it asks you, so here I've got my product embedded, and then it asks you to tell about whatever tool you use. So in this case I used a tool called ThingLink, so I wrote just a little blurb about using ThingLink. You can say, I really like this, I think I would use this in my class for this, da-da-da, or this tool is really hard for me to use, it wasn't intuitive. I mean, it doesn't have to be a glowing report, but just share the tool that you used. I'm going to go back here. The other thing that I did on my web page to help you, this isn't part of your assignment, is on my example page, I also provided some resources to you about empowered learners. So this is, you don't have to add resources on your page, but you can use my resources to get the information you need to create whatever product you're creating. Hope that's as clear as mud. Okay, and that is due next Thursday when we meet. But like I said, if you run into any issues, don't stress too much about it. The other thing about these products each week, I really want you playing with tools. You might play with a tool that you find out it's really hard for you to use, or you don't like the outcome or whatever. That's okay. It's how you learn, and I don't expect everything to be perfect. In fact, that thing that I was just sharing with you, there's some skips in the video, and I could go back and recreate it, and I probably would if I was going to continue to use it in my classroom. But for this particular assignment, the idea is that you play with the tool and that you can show me you understand what an empowered learner is. You do not have to tweak something a million times to make it perfect, okay? So don't spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing these products. I'm thinking probably you could do the research, decide what you're going to put on them, and create the product in an hour or two, okay? Don't spend more time than that on it. Unless you just get really excited about it and you want to play with it more. But I'm not expecting perfection on these different tools. Okay. So here's just my example that I've already shared with you. And then this is some information about Empowered Learner. And so you can use this information as well on your just for your product. So this idea that all of these different strategies that we use for learning are ways to help these things happening. So we talked a little bit about blended learning today, and personalized learning, differential learning, individualized learning, all of these things that take into account the individual student. So these are all different kinds of strategies. And then you combine them with student motivation, the students being able to use the tool so they don't get frustrated with the tool and not learn the content, and using good feedback, and students being able to move through it at their own pace, and that they're excited about it, interested, it feels safe, it's a good place for them to be. So when you add when you add those things together, then you get these outcomes of a deep and authentic learning across the content standards, and they're ready. They know how to learn. So that is what the Empowered Learner Standard is. I love this standard. It is so easy to talk about with teachers, because even if a teacher is scared of technology or thinks kids spend too much time in front of the screen, they all want their students to be empowered learners. And so these are just some ways to use technology to help make that happen. Okay, so I have some reading here. And so each of these, this is what I'm going to try to do with this activity. This is what I've done in person. So each of these slides here has a link to an article. So this one is on motivation. And then you'll see that there's different grade band levels and examples of what that looks like at different grade band levels. And just information about, what does it look like, etc. So for each one, there's motivation, digital fluency, feedback, self-direction, social-emotional engagement. So for each one of those, there's an article. And I don't expect you to read every word of those articles, but what I would like for you to do, and I'm going to exit out of here, what I would like for you to do is for each of those articles, I'd like for you to scan through it and just kind of get an idea of what is meant by motivation, what would that look like in a classroom and that kind of thing. And then this is another example of how you can students can provide feedback, and I can know what you understand. So I'm in the slideshow, and I backed out from the presentation mode, and now I'm just in the slideshow. You have access to this slideshow in the module. So if you click on this slideshow, you also have commenting rights. So this is a little commenting button over here. So if I'm in the motivation area, and I read about motivation, so I went in here and I read about this, and then I come back over here. I'm going to click this motivation. I'm going to click this comment button right here, and I'm going to hit comment, and it already has my name, and then I'm going to add a comment about what motivation means or something in the article that I thought was interesting about motivation. So, and then you just, after you finish the comments, I'll say something. I'm not quite ready to say something right now about it, but let's see. Students who are motivated to learn about a subject are more likely to retain the info. Okay. I don't know if it says that in the article or not right now, but, and then I'll just hit comment, and then that will just live over there on the side of the presentation. And everybody's will live in the presentation. So as you come in and you read these articles, and like I said, you don't have to read every word, just get a good gist of it so that you can add a comment to each one of these 5 slides. Okay? So you're gonna look at the document, and then you're gonna add some kind of aha, or this is cool, or I wonder about this kind of activity by hitting comment and adding your comment over here. So in the end, we'll be able to see everybody's comments. All right, so I'm going to go back to the present mode here, and you'll see what that looks like. So in the present mode, I can't see the comments. I can only see them when I am in the edit mode. Okay? So you're going to go through and you're going to look at motivation, digital fluency, constructive use of feedback, self-direction, and social-emotional engagement. And we're done. Okay? That's a lot. It feels like a lot. My dog is ready for me to take him for a walk or something. So breathe. Remember, I know this is a bad time to say this because it's at the end of the video, but any more videos we have like this, please take time to stop and pause and stretch and come back to it. This is a lot of me talking, and that's not really good teaching. So please do that. And I hope that you're able to learn a lot. I hope that I was clear on what we'll be doing. And again, I just really want to emphasize the fact that if this was difficult for you today because this kind of learning is new to you, please hang on with us till next week, and your questions will be answered. I will work with you to get what you need, so don't worry about it. You're not going to get any bad grades if you didn't get it this week. So just do what you can. Try, keep a little notes of what you have more questions about and that kind of thing. And then we'll come back together on July 5th and all will be good. So the very last thing I would like for you to do is there's a form here. So you're just going to click on that link, and this form is also linked in your module. And you're just going to add your portfolio address and then just some questions so I get a little bit more information about who you are and what you want to learn from the course, etc. And that is it. That's a lot, but that is it for this week, and I really look forward to meeting all of you. I look forward to looking at your responses from this week when I get back from my trip, and seeing what kind of questions you have and your introductions about yourself and your ideas about tech integration, all of that. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited about meeting you on July 5th. Please feel free to email me with questions. I am going to be kind of off the grid for most of, well, actually I'll be coming back on the grid the day of this class. So pretty much if you email me on Thursday, I'll be home Thursday night, so I can look and respond by Friday. So that shouldn't be too big of a problem for you. So I hope everything goes well and that your classes go well this all week, and I will see you on July 5th.